Listen. If you can count, you can do this card trick. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. And let me tell you a little something about this card trick. It is perfect for beginners, so this could be one of the first card tricks that anyone could ever learn. Let's do it. Okay, check it out. We're first gonna need a deck of playing cards that is no longer inside of its tuck case. And next we'll need 3 cards selected, but just to make life a little bit easier, I already selected the 3 cards, beforehand. And just to make them easily memorable, I picked the Ace of Spades and then the 2 red, or in my case, purple aces. Right, so we have these 3 cards here. When doing this trick, you can do it for 3 people. We'll just have 3 people select 3 different cards. And then we'll give the deck a quick little shuffle. See, usually I do the shuffles first, but this time I messed you up. I did the shuffles after the cards were selected. All right, so yeah, let's say we have, I can't handle cards today. Let's say we have these 3 cards selected, and now I'm gonna need a couple of piles here. So I have one pile here, one pile here, and we have one pile like this. All right, so we have a couple of piles here. I'm gonna ask spectator 1 to take an ace, put it on top of pile number 1, then cut pile number 2 anywhere they'd like, put it on top of the selected card. Then spectator 2 is gonna do the same thing, but with the second pile, take an ace, put it right there, and then give it a cut. And lastly, third spectator, take an ace. You can either take this last pile, give it a cut, or just put the whole pile on top. It really doesn't matter. Now that we've done that, I'm gonna collect all these back up, and we're gonna try something really different, but also the same. I'm gonna pass this deck over to spectator number 1, and ask the spectator to go ahead and flip 1 card and put 1 face down, and continue to do this until the entire deck has been exhausted. Once this is done, I ask the spectator if they saw their selected card in the face-up pile. Hopefully they say no. If they say no, we toss that over to the side, and then I hand the deck over to spectator number 2. They repeat the same process. All right, then ask spectator number 2, did you see your card in this pile? Hopefully they say no, because if they say yes, that means we screwed up. And then I pass the deck to spectator number 3. They repeat the exact same process. All right, there we go. Hopefully they didn't see their card in this pile either. Now we're down to just a couple of cards, okay? Now completely up to you. If you want to take the pile, you can take it, give it to any of the spectators. But here's what we're gonna do. Same exact thing. Face up, face down, face up, face down, face up, and face down. Hopefully none of these are the spectator selected cards, but we do have 3 cards remaining. And those 3 cards are the 3 selected aces from the beginning. All right, y'all ready for this? Check it out. Take the cards right out of the tuck case, and yes, I have my own signed tuck case. So a little bit of background on this effect. I searched for about 20-25 minutes. I wasn't able to find it. I had originally learned this like years ago. I even taught it on this channel, but then I didn't like that video at all. It was horrible. So here we are now redoing it, and if you know the name of this effect, do let me know down in the comments below. With that being said, let's go ahead and break it down. First things first, I think this effect works best with 3 spectators. You can still do it with 1, but I think it's a lot more impactful with 3. So you start off by having the deck shuffled by any of the spectators, all the spectators, whatever it is. Then you have 3 cards selected. And of course, as I mentioned, I just used the 3 aces, the 2 red aces and the 1 ace of spades. There we go. The 2 red, purple aces and the ace of spades, just so it's easier for you and for me to remember all of the cards while going through everything. So we have those 3 cards selected, let's just say. And at this point, you can have the deck shuffled again after the card selection, unshuffled, completely up to you. So from here, you're gonna break down the deck into 4 separate piles, okay? And this is probably where the most skill is involved. Okay, you want to break it down into 4 piles. First pile is 14 cards. Second pile is 15 cards. Third pile, 15 cards. And last pile is 5 cards. And setting up these piles while making them look like it's random is probably where the most practice is going to be involved, because you don't want to be sitting there counting off 14 cards in front of the spectator. So the best way that I found to practice and to perform is to push over chunks of 3 cards. So this is something that you'd want to practice whenever you get the chance, before obviously you practice or perform this card trick. So how I form the 14 pile, I push over 3 cards, 3 cards, 3 cards, 3 cards, 4 times 3 is 12, and then 2, which gives us 14. Then for the 15 pile, I just push off 5 packets of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that exact same thing one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then of course, you're just going to be left with 5 cards. You have your 4 piles all set up. And from here, it's completely self-working. From here, you ask spectator 1 to take their card, put it on top of the first pile, which would be the pile all the way on the left, the 14 card pile. And then you can tell spectator 1 to break or cut the second pile wherever they'd like and put it on top. Honestly, it doesn't matter where they cut because they could even put the whole pile on top. It's really not going to matter because ultimately, doing the hardcore math involved here, when you put all the piles back together, it's going to be the same distance between this pile and whatever the next card is. Okay, so they cut. There we go. Ask the next spectator, repeat the same thing. Boom. They cut. Ask the next spectator, repeat the same thing. Boom. Now they can cut this pile or they can put the whole pile, whatever you want to do in your performance. Let's just say they cut the pile. And from here, you're just going to pick up from the smallest pile all the way to the 14 packet pile, the original 14 packet pile. So boom, boom, boom. And from here, I like to give the deck a couple of false cuts. So I have a video tutorial on how to do false cuts. I'll put the link to it on the screen description. You know what it is. So boom, a couple of false cuts here and there. And that's it. You're all ready to just find those 3 cards. In my performances, I like to increase the spectator interaction as much as possible. This way they're involved and then they're more invested in the card trick, so the impact at the end will be a lot stronger. So what I would recommend is handing the deck over to spectator number 1 and telling them to deal a card face up and a card face down, and do this for the entire deck. And as they go through, it may be a good idea to tell them to look out for their card, because if they spot their card, that means this card trick has been ruined, some kind of math has gone wrong somewhere. Alright, so then from there you tell the spectator 1 to pass the deck over to spectator number 2. They repeat the exact same process. It's crazy. And now the same thing. Did you see your card in this pile? They say no, toss that over to the side, pass it to the next spectator. They repeat the same process again, but this time it's a little faster since the deck is starting to trim down. There we go. And now we're just left with with 6 cards, which will form 2 piles of 3. And from here, you can either do it yourself. If there's another spectator in the room, you can give it to spectator number 4. But whatever it is, you can even give it to one of the original spectators. But I like to usually do this at the end if there's only 3 spectators, because I just like to, I guess, slow it down, build a little bit of tension. So it's like, okay, you haven't seen your card yet. And none of these 3 are your cards. They say no. And here we go, slow reveal. We have the 3 selected cards. As always, we can't have Magic Monday without a quote of the week. So this one is by Albert Einstein. He says, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving." That being said, you should probably move on to another video on this channel, because that's what the quote is really telling you. I'm just kidding. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you really soon. Peace out.